Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this video. Welcome back to the YouTube. Of course, we're starting the video with a nice brew. It's a new blend that I got from Code Black on Friday, so it's an absolute treat. Double espresso, going down the hatch. Anyway, today is Sunday, the 28th of July. Just checking. Yes, it's the 28th of July. As of yesterday, we're 7 weeks out. And as I alluded to in yesterday's video, which should have been the last video that was released, so if you haven't gone and watched that, go watch that. I briefly alluded to the fact that we made some changes to the diet early in the week, which calls for a full day of eating. Now, today's Sunday, today's a rest day. I don't normally rest on the weekends, but the way it's transpired, I'm resting today. So we're gonna start by doing some cardio, some steps, some meal prep, all of that. Let's get this show underway. It's about 5:15, so getting cracking on with the day. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, my quads are blown and it could be backwards, but that is 300 calories burned in just over 24 minutes. Average heart rate of 138, got up to 169 at some point. But anyway, as I said, quads are blown. And same with my legs, to be honest. I think they're just sore from the posing over the last couple of days. If anyone's doing their cardio and jumping off and still feeling good, probably not pushing it hard enough. But again, understand there's a spectrum and all of that. So I'm doing well at this stage of prep to still be pushing the intensity without needing any, fat burners implemented, just the black coffee. Alrighty, so that is cardio on the bike done. Now we're going to do some steps on the treadmill because it's raining outside and it is still dark. Not that would normally deter me, but it is raining and yeah, this seems easier and I get to film some clips. So let's get this speed up to something decent enough. So obviously wanted to have a quick chat on, as I sort of touched on at the start of the video, a bit of an update on the prep thus far. So we're currently 7 weeks out and we started the prep at 32 weeks out from the first show. So 25 weeks of dieting thus far. So I'm going to jump into my Google Sheets and give you sort of a bit of a rundown on what food has been changed thus far. So, if we date back to the start of prep, I know I've done a few full days of eatings and whatnot, but so first so protein hasn't changed, it's always been 300. I started at 400 carbs on a training day, 50 fat, 300 protein, and then on non-training day, 350 carb, 60 fat, 300 protein. Then after, it must have been 2 weeks, dropped 50 carb straight off the bat. So at 30 weeks out, we dropped to 350 carb, 50 fat, 300 protein, non-training day, 300 carb, 60 fat, 300 protein, and then ran that all the way up until this past Tuesday. So for the better part of 23 weeks, 22 weeks, give or take. And we dropped 25 carb, 10 fat. So interestingly, between that 21, 22 week period, we've dropped probably 9-10 kilos without even changing food, cardio, any of that. So that's pretty cool to see. So yeah, as I said, dropped food, 25 carb, 10 fat. So currently it's at 325 carb, 40 fat, 300 protein on a training day. But then today's a non-training day, so we're on 275 carb, 50 fat, 300 protein. I will caveat, and that started on Tuesday. We're actually diet break, devolume next week as of tomorrow for a week. So that was almost like a short-lived little spurt. But then we're going to revert back to that the following Monday when we'll be 6 weeks out. So a bit of a diet break and sort of rejuvenate. And I'll also add that we've also had 2 weeks of diet breaks split up through the prep. So it's sort of been 8-week diet, 1 week 1 week diet break, 8-week diet, 1 week mini cut. And then we've done 7 weeks diet, and then now 1 week of diet break. So that's pretty cool. And pretty interesting that, you know, literally in the whole prep so far, I've had 2 diet changes. None of this change your diet every second minute. You know, I see, and obviously I try not to get involved in this or pay too much attention to it, but people or coaches that it's just like, oh, you're feeling a little bit flat, you're feeling a bit, energy's a bit low, refeed, more carbs, or something along those lines, or like, haven't seen a drop in 3 days, therefore let's drop food. And it's just like, well, let's just look at things on a bigger scale as opposed to just day by day. Because yes, at the end of the prep, you can take it day by day, but when you're 12 weeks out, 10 weeks out, it's like, you're probably fine. And which is probably why I do enjoy having AJ, I say enjoy, I mean, it's just a thing, you know, AJ's obviously got a time difference with me. So when I send him a message, and I don't really need to, but if I do, he's not getting back to me until the end of the day. So it's just like, crack on, follow the plan. But I'm sure that will change the deeper we get into prep. The other topic that I wanted to discuss, food sources. Now, I probably have touched on it in earlier 4 days of eating, but you can often get caught up in the trap of just trying to volumize your food. And I know that I've definitely, you know, succumbed to that in past preps. You know, I look back at the 2021 prep, it was, you know, let's do lots of potatoes, let's do lots of volume salads, like lettuce to all meals, pickles, all the condiments, that kind of thing. I can list them all off. Touch wood, and I'm actually a big advocate on this at the minute. It's like, I don't want to go down that path. And I like the fact that I've got all those, I like to call it like tools left in my cutting toolbox. So I haven't touched potatoes. Rice is still in all meals. I say all meals, all carb meals. Yeah, so my carb sources haven't changed. I haven't needed to delve into the potatoes. I know I did when we were in Chewton, and I was not feeling well the day after that, or just I felt bloated because I hadn't eaten potatoes in a while. So I don't really want to mess things up and go down that route. Equally, yeah, so carb sources. So I wanted to keep to rice, oats, and you'll see, I'll probably do a full day of eating next week on the higher food, but I'll be doing things like sourdough as well, and fruits. That's kind of it. Like there's not much for, I say variety, but that's what works. And that, you know, I think about in 7 weeks time when I'm, you know, titrating carbohydrates up in lead up to a show, like I'll be eating those same carb sources. So I don't want to be delving into sort of the volume quote unquote, because I think in past preps it's kind of been like, let's try and make myself full. Let's try and get to that point. And I think you just need to accept the fact in a contest prep, when you're dieting, you're in a deficit, you're never gonna feel full. You are never gonna feel full, regardless of what you eat. And that's also something that you need to remember post-show. It's like, you're actually never gonna feel full without making yourself feel sick. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. So you end up being like a bit of a bottomless pit. So where I'm getting to with that is that I don't, like, all those things that I've got at my disposal, like, I just don't even want to go there. I don't even want to delve into that. So at the minute, like, and then touch on vegetables, like, I'm not going excessive on vegetables. At most, it's like 1 or 2 zucchinis a day. That's it. Easy. It's in one meal. I have 1 or 2 depending on the size of them. I don't know the exact grams because it's consistent. It's every day is 1 or 2 zucchinis, 1 big one, 2 small, medium ones, and that's really it. Along with obviously my other foods. So to cut out, this is probably why honestly I've been able to diet on higher foods. I'm like, the lowest now I'm on is like 2750 on a non-training day, 2860 on a training day. I don't have any of those untracked calories, you know, there's no sauces. And I did this during the off season as well, so like not much changes there. It's just, you know, obviously the quantity will change. So yes, I'm getting a bit fancy with my cream of rices at the minute, but I then step back and I'm like, if it's not causing digestive issues, it's literally just rice, just in a different form, I don't have a problem with it. So we'll continue running with that. Bit of food for thought for your Sunday morning. It's what is it? It's about 6:45. Some thought-provoking things. So I hope the treadmill doesn't overtake the audio here. I've got the mic, so hopefully that's picking up things nicely. So I'm gonna knock back. What have I done? Shit, you've probably been listening for, how long is this clip? 9 minutes? So if you've been listening to this point, appreciate you. Anyway, I'm gonna round this out and I will catch you for meal number 1. Finally, meal number 1's about to go down. So I've ended up doing a fair few steps. I did 5Ks on the treadmill after I left you guys. So we've got meal 1, 6 egg whites, 150 raw weight chicken, freshly cooked this morning. So, but equally, it's chicken and egg whites. Obviously some salt, smoked salt flakes. And I've got my greens on the side, which has been keeping cool in the freezer. So within that shake, I have the Prime Everyday Health in the chocolate flavor, which is delicious. And then I've just got some collagen as well. So I'm gonna nail this. Catch you in the next clip. Here's a bit of a sneak preview of the cream of rice, which I'm making early in preparation for the meal later, which I might then pop more video a bit later. Here we go, look at that. 75 grams of chocolate around. So that's obviously hot, hence the steam. I'm going to let it cool down, pop it in the freezer for the meal later. So, just ducked out to the shops just to get some supplies, and the most important thing with the higher carb day, higher carb week starting tomorrow, some fresh sourdough. Just like, you can just, how good does that sound? Anyway, we've gotten 2 loaves, so that should be the brekkie over the next week. With some poachies, so that is going to be absolutely divine. I can't wait for that tomorrow morning. But in other news, we are about to nail meal number 2. It's just gone, or it's about to go 11 in the AM. I've got 185 grams of kangaroo fillet, and then I've got 75 grams of the chocolate brownie cream of rice. So I say 185 grams of kangaroo. It would obviously be aiming for 200, but the packet only had 185 left, so I just adjust my protein later on in the day accordingly. And obviously you saw the cream of rice that I prepared earlier this morning. It's been in the freezer, so it's nice and chilled, and it's going to be delicious. But let me see how I've cooked my kangaroo. So I have had the kangaroo sit in the pan for the better part of the last 20 minutes to rest. Ooh. What do you reckon? Can you get some good focus on that? That's pretty darn good, isn't it? That is going to be a treat. I'm going to have this with some salt flakes on top. The only way to enjoy a nice kangaroo steak. Okay, what is going on? It is now a bit into the afternoon now. So what did I do? Went off to the football, so it was an early game. It was a 1 o'clock game, Pies v Richmond. Bit of a dull game, to be brutally honest, but thankfully the rain held off. It was raining a fair bit on the way to the ground, but thankfully it was just a bit cold and a bit windy, and that makes me wonder, as I get leaner, how am I going to cope with the cold weather? But thankfully it's getting warmer here, because I was wearing gloves, I was wearing a beanie, I was wearing thick socks, I was wearing about 3 layers on top, and I was cold, and I had to get home and absolutely roast myself in the shower just on full heat, which is probably why I'm looking a bit red now, because I've just got out of the shower, but needed it to thaw out my fingers and toes. But anyway, while it's there, meals number 3 and 4 went down. It was just chicken and rice, 200 grams chicken, 75 grams of rice, both raw weight, and a couple of zucchini split across both meals, so they were exactly the same. One was just before the game started at about 1 o'clock. The second was at about 3/4 time at about 3:15-ish, give or take, and it's about a bit after 5 o'clock now, so I'm going to chill out for a little bit longer, watch a bit more of this football, maybe pop up an Instagram post. Then the latest YouTube video has just gone live, by the way, so if you haven't gone back, go watch that. The Saturday vlog and pool session, which will be obviously a couple of weeks from when this is out. But anyway, I'm going to just chill out, and I'll catch you for the last meal. So on to the final, final meal of the day, the infamous oat recipe. So I've just been cooking this up now. I've been saying this for a while, but I need to make a oat recipe video. In a nutshell, what I've done, this obviously I tailor the recipe based on the amount of oats that I do have in the diet. So it's 115 today oats, and what I did this morning when I was at home is I did 115 oats with about 700-800 mils of water, cooked it in the microwave, and then it soaked it all up, so it was nice and thick. So that was this morning. So now while I've gotten home, it was cold, so then I popped in my 75 grams of whey, mixed it up, was again pretty thick, and then put in probably 400 or 500 mils of water, so like upwards of like 1.2, 1.3 of water within this mix. Mix it up, and then it's runny. You then cook it for maybe 5 min, stir it up, cook it again for maybe 2-3 min, and repeat that for another minute or two, probably another 4 or 5 times. And let me spin you around. This is what we're looking like. Look at that, and look at that volume. So this is only 115 grams of oats and 75 grams of whey. Sorry, I'm not focusing as I'm trying to do. I'm trying to look through the camera. But look at that. It's fucking incredible, isn't it? That's incredible. But anyway, I'm going to pop my toppings on and show you what then that looks like. I'm just trying to get the light right. I'm just asking the question, why has it got those, you can see those lines. Is it just because of the way that the light sits in this room? I don't know. It's not meant to be perfect, is it? You can hear me, you can see me. So I think that's going to round it out here. I've got my oats. I've topped it with 100 grams raspberries, 100 grams blueberries, 30 grams of peanut butter, 30 grams of 85% dark chocolate. Pop some salt on top, and that's going to round out the night. I do love a good oat meal to round out my night, as you probably noticed. So that's around that full day of eating. Total calories, 300 protein, 275 carb, 50 fat. That's a Sunday. That's a rest day. This is the lowest food that we've been on thus far. As you can see, I've managed it not too badly. But yeah, I'm hungry. So I'm fucking starving. I'm gonna nail this while it's hot. It's 6 p.m, but that's gonna round out the video. I'm gonna chill for the rest of this evening on this. Also got my Dream Sleep, BTW. The Dream Sleep, which is a very, very good sleep formula by Axe Labs if you're in the market. So if you like the video, please like the video and subscribe to stay up to date to all the latest YouTube videos. There's plenty more content to come. See you in the next one.